Hey, welcome back to another episode of the She's Making an Impact podcast. I'm your host, Rachel Ngom, and today is actually the 400th episode of the She's Making an Impact podcast, which is insanity. The thing I think I'm most proud of is just the consistency of what it takes to create that, of showing up every single week, sometimes multiple times a week over the past 5 years. So cool. So we are doing a little contest for you. A few things. One, leave a review of the show. If you have been listening to the show and it has made an impact on you, could you please leave us a review and then take a screenshot before you hit submit? Email us that screenshot to clientcare@rachelandngom.com, and then I've got a sweet gift for you as a way to say thank you. So yeah, 400th episode, incredible, exciting, really proud of that. So make sure you go leave a review and share this episode with a friend. Today we are in our 8th training for $1 Million March, which is our final training for $1 Million March. If you have not listened to $1 Million March yet or caught any of the trainings, you can go back and do that on the She's Making an Impact podcast or inside the She's Making an Impact Facebook group. We have covered a lot this month. Talked about what it requires to hit $1 million, how to reverse engineer your $1 million year, the team it requires to hit $1 million, the absolute best investments it takes to hit $1 million, creating your $1 million mindset, your $1 million growth plan, $1 million books to read. And today I wanted to talk about your $1 million community, because this is one thing that is so important, and I don't think it's talked about enough, is what is the community that it's going to, so we talked about like the mindset it requires, the team it requires, but in reality, it also requires community if you want to hit $1 million. You can't do it alone. I remember when I started She's Making an Impact, I hired a coach, and then after I hired that coach, I immediately joined her mastermind because I saw the value of being a part of community and seeing the inspiration that you can get from the other people that are in that mastermind, but also like just the growth. Because together, like when we're all together, we're all working together, we are all up leveling, we're all there pursuing growth. Birds of a feather flock together. You really are the sum of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. So I want you today to just reflect on who's in your inner circle. Who are you allowing into your inner circle that is really contributing to your own growth? Because you are the sum of the 5 people that you spend the most time together. I love this quote from Dr. Steve Maraboli. If you hang out with chickens, you're going to cluck. And if you hang out with eagles, you're going to fly. And so are you hanging out with chickens and you're clucking, or are you hanging out with eagles and you're flying? Really powerful, right? So Napoleon Hill, a great book, if you haven't read it, it's called Think and Grow Rich. And he was the one that kind of created this whole concept of the mastermind. And he said, deliberately seek the company of people who influence you to think and act on building the life you desire. And so as I've grown this business, I started off in that one mastermind, but I've continued to up level my environment. And what has happened as I've continued to up level my environment? A few things. I think bigger. And so as we hit the $1 million mark in our business, I joined masterminds where the limit to like actually join those was you had to be making at least $1 million in your business. And so I joined those, and it was great because I'm like, ooh, I'm at like the bottom, and there's people in one of the masterminds that I'm in that I'm talking with in about an hour. The average income of those people is like $15 million a year average. And there's some people doing way more than that. And it is so cool to be able to hang out with those people, to ask them questions and to like seek their growth and like their mentorship and see like, what was some of the biggest mistakes that you made as you were building your businesses? What would be your advice for me as I'm building this business? It was great. I was actually talking to somebody at one of those masterminds, and I don't know his net worth, but I know he's very, very, very successful. And I asked him, I'm like, what would be like the biggest piece of advice for me where I'm at in this stage of my life? And he's like, spend time with those babies because they're going to grow up quick. And I'm like, you are spot on. I don't necessarily have the desire to build $1 million company, especially if that means that I would have to sacrifice time with those kiddos, right? Because you blink and they're grown, right? Like, and I love my babies. I want to spend as much time with them as I possibly can. So those are just like a few things of masterminds that I've been a part of like, they just cause you to think differently. So look at your inner circle, okay? John Maxwell, in one of his many books, I couldn't tell you which one this was in. Couldn't tell you, sorry. He talks about, it's law number 11. So it could be the 21 irrefutable laws of leadership. That's possible. He talks about the law of the inner circle. And he said that the leader's potential is determined by those that are closest to him. Nobody does anything great alone, nor do leaders succeed alone. Once you've reached your capacity, time, and energy, the only way you can increase your impact is through others. So you need to surround yourself with high performers that extend your influence beyond your reach and help you become and grow to become a better leader. Okay. So who's in your inner circle? Who are you allowing into your inner circle? Really, really important. Okay. So things that I want you just to reflect and journal on. Who is in your inner circle? Who are like those top core 5 people that you're spending the most time with? Are these people where you aspire to be? Okay. If you hang out with chickens, you're going to cluck. If you hang out with eagles, you're going to soar and you're going to fly, right? So where are they at? Do you need to up-level your environment? Are those people that you're hanging out with, are they helping you grow or are they holding you back? If they're holding you back and they're not helping you grow, then you need to seriously reevaluate your environment and consider putting yourself in a growth environment. This is one of the most important things that you can do, honestly, as you grow your business. Don't try to do it alone by yourself because, trust me, it is lonely. The entrepreneurship journey is very lonely. If I didn't have, the masterminds that I've been a part of as I've grown and the coaching that I've gotten to have as I've grown, and I tried to, confide into people that aren't entrepreneurs, the things that I've gone through and experienced or the struggles that I've had or the things that I'm doing. Like if I were to tell, a friend that's not an entrepreneur that I invest like $50,000 in a week or thought like we spend $1,000 a day on Facebook ads. If I were to tell that to someone who doesn't have a business, or that, I just invested $75,000 to be a part of a different mastermind, to them, that's risky. They don't understand risk like entrepreneurs do. I understand the reward of it. So for me, I'm like, it's not risky because I know the ROI. I know when we spend this much, we get this much back. I know when I invest 75 grand in a mastermind, I can easily 10x that investment because I show up and I'm coachable and I know I'm going to maximize the return on investment from that. Right. And so if I were to only have people in my inner circle that weren't entrepreneurs and didn't understand it, I would never be where I am today. So I want you to really contemplate this, reflect on your environment. And if you want to be a part of a growth environment where I'm actually helping you up level, we are launching the Impact Partnership, which is a year-long program where we're seriously going to help you up level your business. It really is next level training, next level mentorship, next level environment. So if that's something that you want to have a chat with me about personally, I don't talk to a lot of people that are we have so many people that we have as leads that want to do our programs. But if you want to talk to me personally about doing that, I'm happy to actually chat with you to see if you'd be a good fit. Just shoot me a DM on Instagram at She's Making an Impact, and we can have a conversation to see if you'd be a good fit and help you really up level over the next year. Okay, so that is some homework for you. How are you going to up level? What's your next level of growth going to be? What is it going to require of you? And yeah, take action. That's one of the biggest things. Just take freaking action. Don't just listen passively and then go back to the chicken environment and be like, all right, I'm just going to sit around and cluck. No, actually do something. If you're taking the time investment to listen or watch me here, take action and do something about it. Okay. All right, that is all for $1 Million March and our 400th episode of the She's Making an Impact podcast. Again, please go leave a review of the show. That helps us make a bigger impact, reach more people. After you leave your review, take a screenshot of your review. And again, I'm talking about leaving a review on iTunes. So just search She's Making an Impact on iTunes. leave a review of the show, take a screenshot, email that to clientcare@rachelngom.com, and then we have a prize and a nice gift as a way of saying thank you. So thank you for being a part of the show, and have a great day. Bye.